Congressman Doug Collins, a Republican out of Georgia, ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, a member of President Trump's impeachment defense team. Congressman, way I understand it, according to The Hill, Mitch McConnell doesn't have the votes, but the word is yet. It's not as if he doesn't potentially have the vote to avoid witnesses. It's just that he hasn't gotten the commitment yet. Is that how you understand it?
That would be the way I'd see it, Brian. I think what we got here, and I'm be clear and succinct. The problem they're having with is the clear and succinct is the Democrats didn't make their case. They showed completely how flimsy the impeachment articles were coming from the House, and now Republicans are having to deal with it. And at the last minute, the timed leak of a Bolton possibility here, just because their case was so weak, is to try and sow some seeds of doubt in some of our members to say that they want to hear more. I think at the end of the day, when they look at the total case, they look at what has been presented and how badly it was done in the House and how poorly these articles were drafted. I think witnesses are not going to help this. No matter what happened, the president did nothing wrong. Ukraine got the aid, and there was nothing conditionality about it, and they did nothing to get it. So there's nothing here to do.
Congressman, there are 4 Republicans that could break off: Murkowski, Collins, Alexander, and Romney. Which ones of those have definitely said they're breaking off? Is it just Romney?
It seems to be, just in the takes that I've had, it seems to be just Romney. I think they're going to have more conversations. Look, Mitch McConnell has done a great job working with the Senate, keeping this trial on a focus and keeping it where it needs to be. And that is on the facts of what the president's team and the defense team have laid out, and have laid out a devastating defense against what the House managers presented against the president. So I think you're going to see some good things here coming forward, and I trust Mitch McConnell to get the process.
Well, by Mitch McConnell's office kind of saying, yep, he's not at that stage yet where they don't have to have witnesses, I would imagine those 4 Republicans are going to get a lot of phone calls today, just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, you know, the one interesting thing here is that for the first time, what we're actually probably going to see here, and I think we'll actually see this, the only bipartisan part of this whole impeachment sham will be bipartisan to acquit the president.
I think you could be right about that, as we hear from Politico. Meanwhile, the president's defense team finished strongly yesterday. For the folks who were busy about living their lives yesterday, we got a little clip that shows you exactly how that all went down.
All you need in this case is the Constitution and your common sense.
If partisan impeachment based on policy disagreements, which is what this is, and personal presumptions, that becomes the new norm. Future presidents, Democrats, Republicans, will be paralyzed the moment they are elected.
They don't have a standard that really defines a specific offense. They don't have a standard that really defines in coherent terms that are going to be identifiable what the offenses are.
Overturning the last election and massively interfering with the upcoming one would cause serious and lasting damage to the people of the United States and to our great country. The Senate cannot allow this to happen. It is time for this to end, here and now.
You cannot impeach a president on an unsourced allegation.
Talking about Bolton.
And Doug Collins, his defense team, we've heard over the last 36 hours or so, made it very clear, even if the stuff in John Bolton's book, which was leaked out, to jack up sales, according to the President of the United States, even if that is all true, it's still not impeachable.
That's right. I mean, what they made it clearly saying the only damage that's been done is to the institution of the House because of how it was done, and also just to try and damage a political impeachment, which shows America we don't need this. This is not the way we go about this.
All right, so I want you to hear from the media. They weighed in because I know you only watch our channel. We watch the others to bring you this.
It does raise questions about the Democratic strategy to fast-track an impeachment before Christmas.
Right now, the Republicans feel good. The White House feels good.
The universe of Republicans, it hasn't really expanded.
So you anticipate that they're going to vote against witnesses?
Listen, predictions are dangerous, especially when they're about the future, but it seems unlikely.
Wow. A lot of them have changed their tune.
Oh, they need to, because they've been wrong all of a sudden. Why should they try to, they've been wrong. Now they're trying to get back because they realize that this impeachment one day will be over, and they're going to have to at least go back to finding a way to be respectable journalists and present facts and not just simply parrot the talking points from the Democrats.
Congressman from the great state of Georgia, I think you have a big announcement to make.
Well, I know there's been some discussion about it, and I've been asked by y'all before about the Senate race down here, and I'm just going to confirm we're in for the Georgia Senate race down here. I've still got a lot of work left to do to help this president finish this impeachment out, and we're going to make a bigger announcement down here in Georgia. But y'all been so kind to ask about it. I want to continue to say the people of Georgia, we're getting ready for a good time down here to keep defending this president and keep it working for the people of Georgia.
The problem is the governor defied the president. The president wanted you to fill the seat right away, Johnny Isak's seat. The governor says, I'm going to put Kelly Loeffler there. She's got a lot of money. She's already got $2.6 million in ad buys ready to go. Are you ready for this task? And are you concerned that you guys will tear each other apart and open up the seat for a Democrat?
No, we're not concerned about that at all. I'm concerned about going to the people of Georgia. I've always run with three reasons in mind. That's Jordan, Copeland, and Cameron. Those are my three kids because they represent the kids and the ideas and the fashions of what we need to have in America. And we just need to have a process that lets people decide, lets them choose for themselves how they want to see this vision. I think we fought for the president, we fought for our state, and we fought for this country. And we're going to continue to do that. And I look forward to a good exchange of ideas and look forward to this election.
Well, since you're fighting for the president, you got up early today to appear from Atlanta. Are you anticipating he will endorse you?
Well, I think that's up to the president to, again, we know how we fight. Look, we're down here right now to go with the people of Georgia, and I appreciate all his help and support in the past. We look forward to working for him and be back in Washington today to do just that.
So I saw, you had Liz Cheney had the same opportunity to go to the Senate. She'd have an easier time in Wyoming. She decides to stay in the House and fight for leadership. Why wouldn't you want to be a leader in the House? Why would you rather be a senator in that chamber?
Well, I think what we've done is proven what we can do in the House and taking this message to the entire state of Georgia. Georgia's in a state that is a wonderful state that's growing, has a lot of new ideas and a lot of new people coming in. And they need to see the conservative values, the conservative values that actually believe in people, that actually coming from being a state trooper's kid and working as a pastor and being an Air Force chaplain, to actually say conservative values like First Step Act, criminal justice reform, putting people in places where they can succeed at all areas of life, and doing that from a perspective of saying, we've worked hard every day in our life to make what we have, but also making sure that Georgia, when they come here, they realize that the conservative values of the state of Georgia is what made it great, and I want to continue to take that throughout the entire state.
Well, good luck.
Congressman, could turn senator. We wish you all the best. Thank you for announcing it here.
Well, it's always good to be with y'all. Y'all take care.